Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie vlog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today I am on the way to go see one of my most anticipated films of 2019, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So I've made it very clear on the channel that I'm very excited for this film, but the trailers do have me slightly concerned because I do think that they showed a little bit too much. I did not want to see nearly as many monsters in the trailer. I did not really want to see all of the visual effects right off the bat. I would rather have had that experience been seen for the first time in the actual full film itself. But of course, this is just my own personal opinion. Some people have loved the trailer. I think that they overall did a great job with the trailer, only in that it guarantees them a crap ton of money. Because the reason why you do trailers like that you show that much footage, that you show the monsters in that capacity, and you show the effects kind of before anything's already happened, is because you want to try and get as many butts into seats as possible. And it seems like that's what's going to happen. The projections for the weekend have this film making well over $200 million worldwide, and I honestly think that by the end of it, it'll be very much on the way to the billion-dollar point. I really do think that Godzilla King of the Monsters has a lot of potential to be a billion-dollar film, even with the critics overall panning it as being a story that does not have a story, a film that does not have really much of a story, where the actual human characters aren't that interesting, aren't that compelling. But at the end of the day, I think that most people going to see this film and wanting to see this film are going to see it because they want to see monsters fight. They want to see titans fight on screen. They don't really care as much as there being any type of amazing story necessarily. Now, I will say this much, I do think and I do hope that there's at least some semblance of a story, because yes, as much as I want to see a bunch of monsters, especially Godzilla, kicking ass on screen, I also do want the film to make somewhat sense. You know, I do want it to be a coherent story, a coherent narrative, because just having a bunch of monsters fighting on screen with no narrative whatsoever, that to me is basically where you get CGI noise, where all of a sudden it just becomes, okay, so you spent all your money on the effects, but that's pretty much all that you did. So I'm hoping that it is not that. I'm hoping that there is at least enough of a narrative to justify all of the madness, but I do want some of that madness. I do want some awesome Godzilla kicking ass action. So anyway, guys, I will let you guys know my thoughts as soon as I get out of the film. So thank you so guys much. And that's why we do these things live and unedited, because you get to see just how hard it is to do some of these things in one take. But anyway, guys, you shall see me after the theater, and so I shall see you in a little bit. What's going on, guys? So I just got out of the movie, and I've got to say I'm mostly underwhelmed. Now, let me just first start off by saying it's not a terrible movie. There is a lot more action in this one as far as the monsters are concerned, compared to the 2014 version. But just as I suspected, most of the fight sequences that are shown in the trailers are exactly what you get in the movie. There really aren't any extra fight sequences that are not there. There obviously are a few things that are addressed in the movie that are not addressed in the trailer, and I think that some of them are pretty cool. But that all being said, when it really comes down to it, almost all the fight sequences take place at night, in the rain, where you really can't see anything, and it reminded me a hell of a lot of episode 3 of Game of Thrones, where it was just so hard to see everything, and you know that they did it on purpose because of the use of CGI. Now, some people have been saying that there wasn't a whole like hashed out plot among the humans. I will disagree with that. There's a lot of human presence, which kind of surprised me overall. I honestly was not expecting that at all. And sure enough, though, most of it, I would say, a huge chunk of it, was actually taking place as a human story, and I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that whatsoever, and I think that is going to tick off some people too, because there are some things that happen and certain things that are said, and the motivations for those characters, where you're thinking to yourself, what in the hell are you thinking? So, I mean, I guess this might be a spoiler, but I don't really think it is much of a spoiler. So basically, the bad guys in this film are crazy environmentalists who believe that all of the titans, all of the monsters, because it was their Earth first, they deserve to have the Earth again, but also that, well, humans have been so terrible, overpopulation has taken over, and all of these terrible things, you know, we're already killing ourselves, so hey, maybe they'll do better. We need to create balance. And And so the balance is going to be by waking up these giant titans, because of course there's many other titans in the film other than Godzilla, waking up these giant titans to bring balance to the earth because of overpopulation and because of humans sucking. That is the motivation of the environmental terrorists. Now, I'm glad that they note as them being environmental terrorists who kill people, and also I'm really happy that they show that those people are absolutely freaking insane. But even with that being the case, even though they are shown as the bad guys, and even though their whole motivation is shown to be complete and utter madness, it still is worth noting that that is the motivating factor behind the bad guys. And I really honestly don't think it makes a hell of a lot of sense, because no matter how crazy you might be, saying, yeah, let's go ahead and unleash these giant 50 to 100 foot plus monsters onto the world to bring balance. Like, no one in their right mind would do that. And I guess that's the point, is that they're not in the right mind. They are crazy. Acting in this film is pretty good, to be honest. I think that the acting, the acting overall is quite solid. The effects at times look pretty good. I think that the design for Godzilla is pretty good. There definitely is some moments of nostalgia where they mention certain names, they show, certain pictures, they have, of course, the traditional sound for Godzilla and some of the other monsters as well. And it was really cool to see some of those designs. I think Mothra had my favorite overall design and look, but at the same time too, it's hard for me to really get behind this film. I went in, I wanted to love it. It was one of my most anticipated films of the year, and I think it's a fine popcorn flick. I think that if you want to just turn your mind off for 2 hours, 12 minutes, that's another thing, is I think it was 30 minutes too long, and just sit through a lot of human drama that's stupid and doesn't make any sense, because that is the motivating factor of the humans, is again this stupid environmental plot. And if you want to sit through that, and then if you want to sit through, you get more monster time, but I would say it's not significantly more monster time. And again, quantity does not necessarily mean quality. And I think that the end battle sequence in Godzilla 2014 is a lot better than what we get in this film. With that all being said, I think that overall it's okay. I think that it's a fine film. It is not hot garbage, but I think that it's going to leave many people disappointed. You very well could disagree with me, and hey, I think that you would have a valid opinion, but that is just mine. Again, I am just one of the many opinions out there, and overall, I was disappointed. Overall, I was let down, and I have really no desire to ever see this film again, and so because of that, I'm going to give this film I'm going to give it a solid C. A solid C film. And overall, I would say that, there are some parts that I was able to enjoy, but for the most part, it just, man, I'm so sick and tired. Seriously, CGI fest films need to end. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick and tired of it. Because if you're gonna have it, you gotta have a good backstory. You gotta have a good motivation for the bad guys. If you're gonna have humans have that much screen time, you gotta do that. And they didn't. Instead, it was this stupid environmental terrorist organization nonsense, and it was just the motivation. Like, seriously, at one point I was like, what? Wait, what? Did you really just say that? Did you really just say that you want to free all of these crazy monsters to bring balance to the earth? Okay. So, I mean, if it was a commentary on how crazy environmentalists can be, well then sure, okay, fine. If not, then it is what it is. But anyway, guys, have you seen it? And what are your thoughts about it? I would love to hear your comments below. Also, please check out my movie review website. You can find a link to that in the description of this video, because I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.